It is a fail-safe, never will do me wrong, and it always looks good no matter what makeup I wear on top of it. He has more combo skin, whereas I have more dry skin, but the formula is right in the middle. It literally just like whoosh, goes on, whoosh, blends in, and it doesn't feel sticky or greasy at all. Minasan konnichiwa, this is Tina and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about the best sunscreens of 2024. If that sounds like your thing, then please go ahead and channel登録 shichatte kudasai. We are getting towards the end of the Best of Beauty series for 2024, and this time we're going to be talking about none other than SPFs. I will be mentioning my most used sunscreens of 2024, whether they are all-time favorite holy grails or new discoveries. Before we get started, my skin type is dry and dehydrated, and the general climate that I live in is on the drier side, being Melbourne, Australia. And just as a forewarning, I feel like you guys should know, I am generally a chemical sunscreen person. I just do not really like physical sunscreens as they can be casty and they tend to be a bit drying, which doesn't really work for my skin. And I don't generally get the issues that some may get from using chemical sunscreen. So I thought you should know that if you are a mineral physical sunscreen person, you just probably won't see very many of them in my videos. So I did notice with doing the kind of new format of best of videos where I mentioned my holy grails as well as new discoveries, I noticed that sunscreens is something that I actually do change up pretty often, and I don't really like have holy grails that I've stuck with for years and years. It may be because my skin type has changed a little bit over time. I feel like when I started my channel, I was like normal to combo skin, whereas I'm definitely dry skin now. So maybe that's why, but I do only have two sunscreens that are kind of holy grails. The first one being one that I mentioned in last year's best of video 2023, the P Calm Water Barrier Sun Cream. This sunscreen is a chemical sunscreen that has SPF 50+ with PA++++ protection. It is fragrance, alcohol, and essential oil free. For me, this one is just the easiest one to reach for an everyday sunscreen, having drier skin. It has a good level of moisture, a good level of hydration, but it's not overly kind of glowy or greasy on the skin. It's that nice in between where it's a natural skin finish with a subtle glow. I can essentially use it all year round too. It is moisturizing enough for winter, but it is still not overly greasy for summertime. About a year ago as well, I think, I got my mum onto using it and she still enjoys using it too. I caught up with her the other week and I saw she has it in her car, like it's a take around sunscreen. This next one is my absolute go-to when it comes to a SPF base underneath makeup, and it made my best of sunscreens in 2022, the D'Alba Waterfall Tone Up Sunscreen. This one is a hybrid SPF, which most tone up sunscreens tend to be. It is SPF 50+ with PA4+. It is not alcohol and fragrance free, so it does contain both alcohol and fragrance. I have been using this as my base underneath makeup for quite some time now. I think it's actually been longer than 2 years, and it still is my favorite one. I have tried out a couple different tone up sunscreens, but this just seems to have that perfect balance of a really subtle tone up, but it is very moisturizing and has a glowy finish that looks beautiful underneath makeup. When I say underneath makeup, it is days like today where I'm wearing a decent amount of makeup, and I must say on my regular days, I don't wear makeup very often. I think I wear makeup like once or twice a week max. Most days I am just barefaced, but whenever I'm wearing a decent amount of makeup or I want it to look like flawless, this is the one that I use. Whenever I travel, this is the one that I take with me as well, because I know it is a fail-safe, never will do me wrong, and it always looks good no matter what makeup I wear on top of it. I must say, because I want full sun protection and I want to control how much of this one I apply, if I am spending like a full day out where I'm wearing makeup, I tend to wear a different sunscreen, a very generous amount all over, and then apply this on top of that sunscreen. You can just wear this if you want to, but with tone up sunscreens, you tend to want to control how much you apply, which means you might not use the full recommended like 2-finger amount. So I just double layer my sunscreen just to be safe, and even on top of other sunscreens, it always works well and leaves my skin just so plumped and glowy. Okay, moving on to the new discoveries of this year. I feel like I've got a good variety across the board, so I'm excited to share them with you guys. The first one is the best sunscreen for dry skin, and it is the Dr. Ciracle Hyuri Youth Moist Sun. This one is a chemical sunscreen with SPF 50+ and PA4+ protection, and it is alcohol free, but it does contain fragrance. I did choose this one as the best for dry skin, aka my personal favorite because I do have dry skin. I am now onto my second tube of this one, which is in my bathroom because this one is an empty. Yeah, totally empty. It was just such a nice one to use every day. I can pretty much equate it to the Pecan one. I will grab both of them in the same sort of instance, and I have tested this one even in very humid weather, which is Florida, and I actually used the Dr. Ceuracle Kombucha Tea Essence and this, just like 2 products in a routine, which worked so well for daytime in the hot but humid weather of Florida because it was really moisturizing and hydrating. But I did only use 2 products, so it kept my skin not overly greasy or anything, and it just worked out perfectly when you can still use these products in the wintertime because it is so moisturizing. This one does include 10 types of hyaluronic acid to hydrate, as well as panthenol, which is going to help their skin barrier, and then fructan, which is a prebiotic, also helps your skin barrier but also hydrating and soothing to the skin too. As I mentioned earlier, it is alcohol free, although it does have fragrance, but it's a nice fragrance. I actually recently gave my mum a spare one of this because she was looking for a new face sunscreen, and she has dry skin, possibly even drier than me, and she said it was really nice and moisturizing and she didn't mind the scent as well. So obviously it is going to be a personal preference, but this one's one that I was reaching constantly this past year. Next one is the best sunscreen for oily combo skin, and is the Biore UV Aqua Rich Aqua Protect Lotion. This one is also a chemical sunscreen with SPF 50 plus and PA+++ protection, and this one does contain fragrance and alcohol, so it is not alcohol and fragrance free. So it is a bit of an assumption of mine that this is the best for oily skin because I do not personally have oily skin, so I couldn't test it in that sense. But going off of the super duper lightweight texture as well as reviews online, I assumed that it would be really good for oily skin because the texture is literally like water. Like even in Japan, they promote it as a toner-like sunscreen, like watery toner-like sunscreen, because it is just so fluid. This one is empty, so I don't know if we're going to be able to see the texture right here, but hey, there you go. Whoa, see, I have to be so quick because it's like literally so watery. But yeah, super duper lightweight. We used it mostly when we were in Okinawa early 2024, where it was very hot, or we spent a lot of time out in the sun, and it was like the easiest to chuck onto our body because it literally just like whoosh, goes on, whoosh, blends in, and it doesn't feel sticky or greasy at all. It is so lightweight, and it kind of packs in small too, so good for travel and just kind of dousing your skin with it. I will say it does contain fragrance and also a decent amount of alcohol to achieve that lightweight formula. So if you're not a fan of alcohol or fragrance, I'd say avoid it because it is fairly strong on both of those. But if you don't mind those and you are just looking for something that is super duper lightweight that you can use, I feel like you will definitely enjoy this one. Since I do have drier skin, I can't really use it on my face too much because I will find it a little bit drying, but it was again really nice on the body too. Next one is the best sun spray, the Suncut UV Protect Mist. This one is also a chemical sunscreen with SPF 50 plus and PA 3+ protection. It is free from fragrance, but it does contain alcohol. Over the last couple of years, I feel like I have switched from sun sticks to sun sprays when it comes to reapplying on top of makeup. As I said earlier, there's not too many days where I'm wearing like a decent amount of makeup and I do have to apply sunscreen on top just because I don't wear makeup that often. But I do feel like a spray is just a little bit easier since you have to touch your face less and you can just kind of pat it down with a sponge. This one and the Biore one are the two that I have been kind of using the most, but I do prefer this one just because it is fragrance free. Usually fragrance obviously does not bother me, but both of the sun sprays are pretty strong in alcohol just to make that lightweight texture. So the fragrance of alcohol is already pretty strong, so having added fragrance on top of that is kind of intoxicating. I don't know if that's the right word. So yeah, I have been preferring to use the Suncut. It is very easy to use, obviously packs pretty small, and you can even spray it upside down, which I feel like is good for when you need to get your back and etc. it is pretty affordable, so you can go in with a pretty generous amount, which I do tend to do whenever I'm applying on top of makeup. I think I spray like 20 to 30 times. So yeah, it's affordable, so you can use a lot, and it has been my go-to sun spray this past year. Now for the best sun stick of 2024, the Huda Huda Wanda Black Bamboo Daily Soothing Sun Shield. This one is a chemical sunscreen with SPF 50 plus and PA4 plus protection. It is also alcohol, fragrance, and essential oil free. As just mentioned, I did tend to use sun sprays on top of makeup more than sun sticks the last year, so I feel like I experimented a little less with sun sticks, but the convenience is absolutely unbeatable. They're just the easiest thing to throw in your bag. It doesn't leak because it's not a liquid, and yeah, they're still great use for sun sticks. This year I feel like I tended to use it a lot when I was out and about, like on my chest area, on my arms, when I just needed a really quick reapplication. This was the one that I went for. Logan did also use it a fair bit because he uses sun sticks more than I do. Again, for that convenience, he always has one in his bag. I feel like it was a happy medium because he has more combo skin, whereas I have more dry skin, but the formula is right in the middle where it's moisturizing but not overly glowy or greasy like some other sun sticks, but it's not completely matte, so it's not going to kind of flake or dry out even dry skin like mine. And obviously it is a added bonus that it is alcohol and fragrance free. The last product I have for this video is the best body sunscreen for 2024, and it is the Nivea Japan UV Deep Protect and Care Gel. This one is again a chemical sunscreen with SPF 50 plus and PA4 plus protection. It does have alcohol and fragrance though. If I am honest, when it comes to body sunscreen, I am not exactly picky because I tend to use the sunscreens that didn't work for my face on my body. And obviously with what I do, I have an abundance of skincare products and abundance of sunscreen. So I'm never really looking for a sunscreen specifically for my body. But if I were to recommend one for someone who was looking for a body sunscreen, I feel like the Nivea Protect one, this has been one of the best selling sunscreens in Japan for quite some time now, and it is always recommended as a body sunscreen. It is lightweight gel formula. It does have fragrance, but it is not too bad. I feel like it's just like a light floral fragrance. Since it does have alcohol, it creates that super duper lightweight texture that just sinks into your body, doesn't leave any tackiness, and you can be very generous with the application and it won't feel like heavy on the skin. It is also 80 grams, which still isn't huge, but it's definitely bigger than your average of, I mean, this is 20 grams, 50. I think average sunscreens are 50. Yeah, 50, 50. This is 80 mils, which is a little bit bigger. In Japan, it is super duper affordable. I think it's about 1,000 yen, and even online, I feel like you can get it for like $10, $15. It is definitely a good buy considering the decent sized bottle, it being lightweight, also being waterproof, and affordable price. So if I were to choose one specifically that I wanted to use for my body, it would be this Nivea one. Well, that is it for the best sunscreens of 2024. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and hope you guys have found one that you can rely on, that you can use every single day. I feel like I'm a little spoilt for options with sunscreens. I don't find it that hard to find one that I enjoy anymore, so it's pretty awesome. If you don't have a holy grail yet, hopefully one of these can be an inspiration for the next sunscreen for you to try. If you do have a little bit of time to spare to hang out with me, I would super duper appreciate it if you could select one of these videos to watch, because I think you'll enjoy it and I will super duper appreciate it. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!